Hey, and just a quick reminder that the audio-only versions of these Vital MX interviews are available on the Vital MX podcast page. Search for it anywhere you get your pods and let your friends know about it. Hey guys, Darkside again for Vital MX. Right now I got another Phoenix Honda rider on the line, Jace Owen. What's going on, Jace?
Not much. Just got done doing a little workout. I actually had a good day of riding on the new bike. Today was day 3 on the Phoenix Honda. So just trying to adapt to the bike. You know, it's been a couple years since I've been on the Honda. I actually rode for Phoenix before I went to club.
Yep.
And was on that bike for 2 years. So just excited to be back on the Phoenix bike and getting to log some laps.
Good deal, man. We're going to get into all that, but I kind of want to step back for just a second. You guys, I just want to know how you feel coming off these, we'll call them quote unquote post-race or post-season races, the World Supercross, etc. How you feeling about it?
Yeah, the World Supercross deal was pretty awesome. You know, for me, like I've actually done quite of overseas racing, obviously not the World Supercross, but I spent quite a few years in Germany, like during the winter doing that Supercross series. And, you know, I raced Paris a few years. So for me, like I was actually really looking forward to the World Supercross thing when it came up. And I put in a lot of like hard work during the summer and stuff, even though I didn't race outdoors and, you know, I'm not much of an outdoors guy. Like I still just stayed at club riding and training. And then like probably about 6 weeks before the first World Supercross, we started riding Supercross. And honestly, I felt really good. And I had very high expectations for myself, you know. But I went to Cardiff, actually, and I qualified fastest, which that was like kind of a confidence booster. And then, you know, just when the racing happened, the first main, I just ended up having like a rear brake issue, so I wasn't able to finish, and then had to hop on the spare bike and didn't really just feel comfortable, honestly, switching bikes like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, we went into the second round in Australia and just kind of tried to push through it, but had a couple just like freak things and, you know, in qualifying. And then kind of once the racing happened, though, in my heat race, I got second. Me and Oldenburg actually battled. So like, I felt like I kind of got the train back on the tracks. And then the first main event, I got a good start and actually ended up third. So, you know, I set myself up good for the night of racing on that. And then the second main just ended up having a bike hiccup and I wasn't able to finish. And then that kind of took me out for the night. So as far as like the racing part, you know, just luck wasn't on my side, I guess you could say. And I wasn't able to really put together, you know, consistent races, I guess, to be in the fight. But I definitely felt like I had the speed to be a podium guy and honestly even like win races.
Oh, good to hear. Yeah. You mentioned not feeling comfortable on the spare bike. Now, for people that maybe don't understand, I'm assuming there was one spare bike for everybody, right? Not every rider had a spare bike. You guys can't take that many bikes, or they can't ship that many bikes across the ocean there. So I'm sure it wasn't set up exactly the way you wanted. It was just a general spare bike.
Right. Exactly. You're exactly right with that. You know, since you can only have one spare bike and, you know, and we didn't get to ride the spare bike prior to it. You know, it's kind of just hurry up offense, getting everything together, and with outdoors just getting finished up and things like that. So it was kind of just like hurry up offense, got the bikes together, and then we went racing, and the race bike and stuff, it was really good. But and the spare bike was kind of, you know, the engine and stuff was the same, but like you said, it just didn't get to ride it. Wasn't exactly my setup. So just to hop on it and like, you know, 30-second board up, sideways gate drop on a bike you've never rode.
Sure.
It was definitely difficult. Like, and just, you know, not being comfortable and things like that. But I tried to make the most of it, you know, but I just wasn't able to push and the comfort level wasn't there.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. When you're in Melbourne or you're in Cardiff and there's a race that you have prepped for, does it still feel like you get a little bit of vacation time? I mean, is it a little bit relaxing getting to go see the world?
Yeah, no. You know, as far as like once you fly over there, like, you know, you're kind of jet lagged out a little bit too, just from like the long flights, especially Australia. it was like over, it was like a 23 or 24 hours of actual like flying, not counting, your layover time and things like that. And then also it's 15 hours ahead from where we are here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So it was hard to adapt a little bit. But I would say like we did stay. So we raced Saturday, and then I didn't end up flying out until late Sunday. So we did kind of get to spend the day and tour around and stuff, and just like able to sightsee a little bit and see things like, was super cool. But I guess to answer your question, like, yeah, it kind of is like a vacation, and we all went over there as a team, but obviously like the main goal is, and still over there for a job, like, and it's fun, but to race my dirt bike, and I want to do the best I could do and be on the podium and be on that box. But that I wasn't able to do that, but it still was an awesome experience. And I think heading into next year is definitely something that I want to do. And it being more rounds than just two, like I think the 2 rounds was just kind of everyone get their feet wet a little bit with it, see what it's all about. But turnout wise and spectator wise, like I think they had a great turnout, and just how the series was ran, and Adam Bailey, like he did a great job and things like that. So honestly, like my experience was great. The racing part didn't get the results I wanted, but I guess there's always next year and come back for some redemption.
There you go. I like that. Okay, so 2022 Supercross ended with, I believe you were 8th overall in 250 East on the Club MX bike. That team from the outside, to me, seems like they're doing all they can to win and to be a top-level team. So with the announcement that just came, why the change to Phoenix Honda?
I think part of that, my relationship with Brandon Haas that owns Club MX is great. Like we've actually had a past even from when I was amateur. And then the first year when I turned pro in 2014, that was actually the first year that Brandon was involved with doing like the pro side of racing. It was the Factory Metalworks team. I'm not sure if you remember, but had my teammates was Vince Freeze and the Cat, AJ Catanzaro. So that was kind of like my first experience, like all the way back to 2014. And then, when I started riding for Phoenix, they trained at Club. So, I was back at Club and things like that. And then, I would say, dude, the bike, the program, everything's awesome that they have going on. I think, with J-Mark coming on board and, like obviously he's a championship guy, a lot of focus there. They wanted to downsize the team as well. And then I've had a pass with Phoenix, and they're still based in North Carolina. I have a house here, so honestly, all the stars kind of aligned and just made sense. I could go back there. Kind of felt like I could somewhat be the guy over there and get a lot of attention and focus. And I felt like where I'm at in my career, I just felt like it was a great move for me. And also, the Honda, I've had some really good results with that in the past, but as far as like, Club riding for them for 2 years was awesome. The bike's really good. What's actually really cool though, is like, even though I'm going to Phoenix, I'm still going to be riding and training at Club. So like, as far as that goes, I still have all those guys to ride with, train with, and everything. So like, I think really for me, the only thing different is just a little bit like the atmosphere as in the team wise, and then riding a different color bike.
Okay. Now you mentioned you've been at Club. You were at Club previously, then you were at Phoenix, and back at Club, back at Phoenix now. With a team like that, a mid-level team. This is actually a Michael Lindsay question, just FYI. What are some differences that fans may not see from a mid-level team to the next? What from the outside, you see the semis, you see the canopies, everything, they almost look identical to a factory team. But there are obviously budget differences, there are parts differences. What's something that you can tell the fans that is, from the rider standpoint, that's different between these different teams?
Yeah, I think like you said a little bit, obviously, is just like budget. Obviously, budget for the factory teams, it's not unlimited, but they obviously, I feel like, definitely have a little bit bigger budget. Also works parts, things like that, where, I would say, even Phoenix or Club, like my experience with them, both of them, they put everything into it. They grind, like they put in just as much work, I would say. I feel like personally, but like you're not really getting the works parts and things like that. So I feel like as far as, the bike, maybe it's not quite, it's not quite as strong, or maybe the engine's not quite as strong, but, the suspension that I've had on the bikes, especially on my Phoenix bike that I'm on right now, the KYB Enzo stuff is really, really good. Like, I'm actually gelling with that well. So I don't know. It's kind of a tough question to answer, I feel like. But I think maybe just, like you said, budget-wise, and maybe not having quite as many things to try and tinker with.
Resources.
But sometimes I feel like it's almost better to not have so many things to try, just because you can almost get lost, and then end up having to you just circle back around to where you started from.
We see it all the time. Can a team like Club, Phoenix, Firepower, Solitaire, etc., can a team like that legitimately contest for a championship, do you think?
I definitely believe so. I think it's a lot about just who you surround yourself with as far as the team, and then obviously putting in the work ethic and the grind, and having a good relationship. I'm actually really stoked because Heath Harrison, he's been one of my really good buddies for a long time, and he kind of helps run the team over at Phoenix, but he's also going to be my mechanic for next season. So that's like a big help to me. And like, obviously for people that don't know, like, he still can get on a dirt bike and rip. So that's going to be like a good aspect for me, like, to have at the races too, just like helping me, I feel like, and not just necessarily being a mechanic, but also being there and being able to pick out things that, he sees or other riders and tell me. Like, I think that'll be a great help to my program heading into this 23 season and on race day as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith is good people.
Yeah.
Going from the Yamaha, which is arguably one of the best, maybe the best 250 platform from base, what is something about the Honda that you like better? Give us some differences in the two bikes. What suits you? Maybe even from each bike. What are the highlights that suit you?
Yeah, so I would say, like, after having a couple years on the Yamaha, and then now getting on the Honda, which it's a new bike from what I rode before, because I was on a Honda from all the way back, really 2013, all the way through 2020. Mm-hmm. So I was on that thing for a long time. Even went through a couple of generations of that Honda, the 250. Or now it's a new bike. So for me, getting on it was different. But I would say just the big things that stand out to me a little bit is the Yamaha. Definitely, I feel like has more weight middle to back of it. Kind of rides a little bit lower, like steer from the back end. Not a lot of weight on the front. Seems just like a little bit shorter, fatter, as to where the Honda, I definitely feel like there's more weight on the front end. You have a lot more front end feel. For me, like, trying to adapt to it, it's almost like the bike has been like turning too much. Like, it's very agile.
Yes.
Where it's kind of like it's skinnier. It's definitely skinnier. It seems a little bit taller, like ride height for me compared to the Yamaha. Both bikes have been good. But to only have, 3 days on the Honda, I feel like where I'm at, like, I'm starting to adapt with the bike very well, very quickly. But the two bikes definitely do have a lot different feel. And then, like, the Yamaha, with, like, there's a lot of noise. It's very loud. Like, you get a lot of engine noise and
sure.
From the airbox and, where the filter is and stuff, like at the front of the bike, where the Honda, not so much. It's kind of quieter. But for me, yeah, I would just say the biggest things is just kind of like the way the bike rides, the weight, where the weight is on the bike. The Yamaha definitely has a very strong engine, but the Honda, I'm happy with it so far, and I definitely think we have some room for improvement as well. So
okay, Michael Lindsay wanted me to ask if, quote unquote, making it in the traditional Supercross motocross path. Well, obviously, so you're not really motocross, but in the Supercross path is still like the dream or the goal, or if recently with hitting these World Supercross races and the off-season races you've talked about in the past, making some money, maybe the goal, the dream has changed a little bit too. Let's just make a career out of racing where we can to make some money.
I would say for me, I definitely still have like a rock that I want to flip over on the Supercross world. in AMA. I did Supercross for 2014, 2015, and then I jumped into the arena cross world for quite some time. And I won a lot of races in that. I won a championship in 2019, actually for Phoenix. And then I definitely just feel like I've only, had a couple years back into the Supercross world, and in 2021 was my first year with club, but I tore my ACL after the first race, tried to ride through it for, I made it a couple rounds, ended up breaking my ankle. So 21 was kind of like a wash. And then I only had about 6 weeks on the bike coming into the 22 season. So, I didn't have a lot of momentum going. It was hard for me. I definitely wasn't up to pace when the season started. I felt like for me, like the biggest goal was to stay healthy and just see some steady improvements. And, I was consistent. I got 8th in the points. It's definitely not where I want to be, but it was something to build off of. And I just want to, continue staying healthy. And, for me, I feel like being a top 5 guy, and I would like to get a podium in my career for sure where I'm at. And that can always change, maybe things will start clicking and it could be even better than that. But I definitely for next season want to get some top 5s, and I would like to shoot for a podium. But I do also enjoy the going overseas and racing. So I think that'll be a part of my racing. As long as I'm racing in my career, I think that'll be part of it. Yeah. But as far as right now, I would like to just still focus on Supercross, and I still do some races overseas, do the World Supercross stuff definitely. And then, maybe when I'm done towards the end of my career, maybe go back to arena cross and try to get another couple championships in that. But who knows? Just kind of see where it goes and take it year by year, day by day.
Yeah, I've got a couple more questions. And you brought up the Kicker Arena Cross the series you won the championship in 2019. There's a couple of those arena cross. I think it's the Kicker one, and then it was the Hoosier, which is something else now. Do you feel like those series that are trying to build something are a good road for riders to start off and build a career and then transition into Supercross?
Yeah, I think that, both the guys that run those series are really good people. But it's not like the AMSOIL Arena Cross, what that was. AMSOIL Arena Cross the tracks were gnarly, the tracks were tough for us, but we also, it was kind of like the pro day, and then, you had the amateur day on Sundays, where for the, the Kicker, the Hoosier Arena Cross, they're racing all the classes. So they kind of have to build a track that's safe for everyone, all the way from 50s to vet riders to pro riders. So, the tracks are definitely easier, and there's not a lot to separate, where back when the AMSOIL tracks was, you had massive whoops, the racing was super tight. A lot of teams were involved in stuff. So I think it's awesome that there's still the Arena Cross series going on. I just wish that they could somehow figure out a way to have the track, a little bit more technical and just make it gnarlier. But I still think it is great racing. It's indoor racing, it's tight racing. It can definitely help with your racecraft just because there's not a lot of separation, and it's tight. It's very tight, tenths of seconds. And, you come up on lappers quick when there's only 20-second lap times. You got to be able to think fast, maneuver quick. It definitely can help your racecraft, I believe.
Okay. Last question, man. Just define success for you in 2023. You've touched on what your goals are. You'd love to get some top 5s, et cetera. But overall, for the whole season, what would be successful?
I think, truthfully, is just staying healthy. And like I said, I want to be a top 5 guy. I'd love to get on the podium. So, I got 8th in points in the 22 season. If I can improve that, be top 5 in points, and then, kind of set myself up, even better for the following season, and just keep the momentum rolling, I think that would put me in a great spot. And then I would like to do World Supercross. And I think with just the traveling and the racing overseas and my history that I've had, I would love to fight for a championship in that. I think that's kind of my goal and expectation. Even though there's a lot of good dudes and a lot of competition, I think that just that type of racing and the riding style and the way that they built the tracks, at least the first couple rounds, suits me really well. So I think for AMA Supercross, be top 5 in points, and for the World Supercross, fight for a championship.
Okay, dude, I love those goals, man. That's awesome, and I can't wait to see this thing kick off and see how it goes.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited, and I'm stoked on the opportunity to be back on Honda, riding red, and like I said, I've only got 3 days on the bike, but I feel like I'm adapting to it very well. And, it's just kind of getting started, and I'm actually just getting ready to, I'm going to do Paris Supercross this year on the 250.
Oh, sweet.
So I will be racing it on a Honda. So it'd be cool. I'll at least have, 7-8 days before I have to fly over there. But
yeah, I'll be there.
No, I feel great.
Cool, man. Yeah, I'll be there. So I will see you in a little over a week then. Maybe, I guess 2 weeks, really.
Yeah. I guess, you'll be over there, and we can catch you up, touch base, and see what you think of the old Honda.
That's cool, man. I'll come by and say hi. I appreciate you visiting with us tonight for a little bit. Good, congrats on the new deal, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Darkside.
You got
Thanks
it,
for having me on.
Yes, sir, man. Anytime. You take care.
All right. You too, man.
All right.